Greetings, viewers. This is CP666 signing on for a video about computer mice. And obviously, as you can see, we are going to have an unboxing of a computer mouse here on this video. But before I get into that, let's talk about standards. You see, the computer mouse was popularized in the 1980s by the Macintosh, the Atari ST, and the Commodore Amiga. And there have been many different types of mice over the years. What I'm about to show you is just a small sample of them. The most common standard, especially today, is, of course, the optically tracked mouse. This is just one such example. Another very common mouse type is the ball mouse. This was, of course, most common on laptops. Go ahead and move the star of the show to the way here. We can see a laptop with a ball mouse right here. This is a Zenith 486. But this was common up on the Pentium systems and even later than that. This was around for a very, very, very long time. Very long-standing standard. But of course, the most long-standing standard is the ball mouse, which is what we are going to be unboxing today. This is an Exponent mouse set. Mouse pad and mouse holder. Though I think I've been duped out of the mouse pad. So we'll go ahead and we'll open this. Go ahead and take a look at the back. I think I lost the floppy disk that came in it. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the back here. You could pause the video if you want to read that. Actually, it'd probably do better if I turn that off so it's not glaring as bad. If you can read it. If not, I'll read it to you. 310 DPI high-quality Windows-compatible mouse with 3.5-inch driver included. That's an interesting way of wording that. Dynamic optomechanical technology, 9-pin standard connector and serial. PVC-free, long-lasting mouse pad enhances your mouse performance while keeping the mouse roller clean. Mouse holder keeps your mouse clean and safe when not in use. Made of high-quality, high-impact, non-magnetic plastic material. It attaches to your monitor. Alright, the rest of that is just in other various languages. Hold on a minute. Let's take a look here. See, blue. I didn't get a blue mouse. I feel duped already. So there's an address. Actually, there's a couple of addresses. 51901. So I suppose that's a model number. And of course, the dreaded "Made in China." China pride. Oh noes. Whatever we're going to do about that. So the floppy diskette fell on the floor, but it is included. This is our driver, our 3.5-inch driver. I guess that extracts into a folder that's 3.5 inches long. I don't know. Here's the mouse. I don't think this is the correct mouse. I think this is just some generic replacement, and I've been duped out of my money. This mouse does have an interesting feature. You can see on the bottom, maybe if I turn the light on, you'd be able to see it. We have a PC and an MS switch. Now, what that actually is for is this is a dual standard mouse. It's regular PC compatible, which is what it's set to right now, and mouse systems. That was another common standard. Of course, here we see the 9-pin serial connection. Presumably you could use it with a PS2 adapter. That's pretty much it for the unboxing. But you didn't think I was going to be unboxing a standard serial port ball mouse, did you? Yeah, I don't think so either. Let's come back to the whole standards thing. The laptop that you see in front of you has got two of them. One of them is in the center of the keyboard. This one's got many different names. The name that IBM chose to call it, I think, is AcuPoint. It's also been called IBM was TrackPoint. Toshiba was AcuPoint. And it's got other names as well. Pointing stick, nipple mouse, all kinds of different names. But the same standard still applies. This is a very common standard, or it was up until relatively recently, when they seem to have been completely eradicated from computers, which is rather unfortunate. Although I understood it because really nobody knew how to use it, because most often it was bundled along with this standard, the Trackpad. Oh man, a lot of people think that this is a relatively recent invention, and I'm here to tell you that it's not. Apple pioneered it way back in the 1990s, the mid-1990s to be exact. I have a Macintosh PowerBook, what is that, 520C. That was one of the first computers, mainstream computers, to come with a trackpad. This is a much later example, of course. I'm not a big fan of them, but they work, I suppose. Look at that, the buttons can even come in colors. But did you know that you can get trackpads for desktop computers as well? Well, you probably did, because they are once again, another very common thing that you can buy these days. They show up, I think there are even PC compatible ones now, but Apple was the one that brought that back with their Magic Trackpad, external trackpad thing, which personally I think is a waste of money. But you could get PC compatible trackpads long before the Magic Trackpad came around. And that is where the star of our video is going to come into place. Feast your eyes on this bad boy. It's even got an epic name. The Power Cat. What more could you want? It's even got a picture of a cat on the box. Look at that. Horsepower, man. Or cat power, such as the case may be. Alright, so enough yakking on about this. This is a Cirque Glide Point trackpad. These were very common in the 1990s. I think this one was made in 97. If we look at the back here, we can see some certifications. Again, I'll have to turn off the camcorder light because it's glaring like crazy. PC World Hot Pick. What does that say? Windows Stellar. I can't read that. Windows Stellar September of 1996. Where is it? There it is. I don't think you'll be able to read that. I doubt the camera will focus on it. 1996. Home PC. I still can't read that. What does that say? I can't read that at all. The printing's way too small. Best Buy Home PC from January of 1987, and PC Magazine 100 Best Hardware Accessories, May 6th, 1997. So, that puts this thing as being made somewhere around, the mid-1990s. It's very old for a trackpad, although, of course, as I mentioned, they've been around for a lot longer than that. Alright, here's what I paid for it. Very princely sum, nowhere near what this probably would have cost brand new. Especially when you consider this. Let's go ahead and have a look at this side of the box. Which cat is right for you? The Easy Cat, Microsoft Plug and Play, Serial or PS2 port, single, double, and right clicks on pad, Glide Extend, tactile feedback, 2 buttons, and maintenance free. That's what it looks like. It's blue. The Smart Cat, all of the above, plus vertical and horizontal scrolling, one-touch zoom, settings you can personalize, audible feedback, programmable buttons. So everybody who says that all of those things are new features, guess what? You are all wrong. Myth busted. They've been around since the mid-1990s. Take that. And we have the Power Cat here, which features all of what this and this have, in addition to fingertip web surfing, back and forward, signature capture, mini sketch capability. Alright, so this thing is the cat's meow, no pun intended. Replace your mouse and enter a new era of PC interaction. Well, these didn't really take off, for obvious reasons. I'm of the very esteemed opinion, and I don't think I am the only one that shares this opinion, that the trackpad on a desktop is really just kind of weird. In fact, the trackpad in general is really just kind of weird, and especially trackpads of this era. They were very inaccurate, very difficult to use, but mostly they were just inaccurate. You move your hand, your finger movements on the trackpad just did not correspond correctly with what was displayed on the screen, at least to me. I've got a couple of trackpads in here that are rather garbage. The most powerful input device ever. Surf the internet like never before. You can pause the video if you want to read the rest of this, because I'm not really much of a salesman, so. Again, you can pause the video to read the package contents. Comes with a serial to PS2 adapter. That's not bad. 3.5-inch diskette for Windows 95. That could be a problem, actually. We'll discuss that in a minute. System requirements. It's a Microsoft plug-and-play device, so basically you plug it in and pray that it works. Yeah, remember those days? Oh, that was terrible. Very low system requirements, though. To use the advanced software settings, you need to use Windows 95, however. There's the specifications. You can see some diagrams of the ports. And on the back, we'll discuss the stuff on the back later. Let's just go ahead and actually unbox the actual star of today's show. I can't believe, if any of you thought that this was going to be the star of the show, shame on you. For shame. Especially considering the video title. That's just bad. Go ahead and open it up here. Comes out in one piece. There's nothing else in the box. I do have everything. Everything is present. So we can go ahead and open this carefully, making sure that it's still on the camera. Alright. Here's our registration card. I should photocopy this and send it in and see what happens. Here's our serial to PS2 adapter. Here, of course, is the floppy diskette containing the driver and utilities. And our little mouse pad, which is more of a palm rest than anything else. Did it say palm rest or did it say mouse pad? Oh, it says palm rest, so yeah, it's palm rest, not a mouse pad. I'm an idiot. Not that I really needed any help demonstrating that. Here's the user guide. There's not really much in it, just your usual fold away describing all of the features. I may scan that in and show that to you in the video description. Not entirely sure what this was for, but I have it nonetheless. Got the, let's see if I can get this out of here. Here's a pen. And here is the trackpad unit itself. Rather lightweight. I suppose this is probably one of the big advantages of a mouse like this, is that it's lightweight, and you can just set it down on your desk, just like this. If you want to have the palm rest, you can just put it right there. No problem, no questions asked, doesn't even need to move. Really beneficial. So, but what is a computer mouse video without a demonstration? Let's go ahead and get a computer, fire it up, and demonstrate this thing. Right, so here is our first contestant. For those of you who do not know what this machine is, and I wager to bet there are probably quite a few of you that are new to this channel, this is a Dell Latitude NLM M133ST. As you can probably guess from the model number, it's based on a Pentium 133 CPU. I don't remember how much memory this unit has. I think it was 16 megabytes. And it's got a 1.4 gig hard drive running Windows 3.0. Go ahead and fire it up here. Assuming it still works, we'll see it on fire up. Well, it's got quite a bit more than 16 megabytes. I think that's actually 72 megabytes. Alright, so we're just going to push F1 to resume. I don't really care about any of that. 21 megabyte hard drive. Okay, I think I am going to need to go into the BIOS and configure this. Alright, there we go. That's a little better. Unlike most Dell systems, this is using a Phoenix BIOS, unmodified. It does see the hard drive correctly. So I wonder why I wasn't seeing it before. That's rather odd. So I'm going to set these values to be somewhat sane now that I'm here, and we'll go ahead and load into Windows. I have also confirmed, yes, we have 72 megabytes of installed memory. So go ahead and you can save those changes. The system should reboot itself. They'll probably complain about a suspended disk file. Since I'm not using Windows 95 and I don't really have that feature. It's not really going to matter. There we go, that's the proper hard drive size. Here we are, Windows 3.0. Here's our trackpad. Again, like I said, this one's actually better than most of them. I'm not moving it very much here. The mouse is moving all over the screen. So we can show you that this actually does work. Are you gonna get out of here or what? Just a quick little demo. Oops. Yeah, that sucks. Oh well, anyway, you could just see that the mouse actually works. So, go ahead and get out of here. Shut the system off, and we'll plug in the external trackpad. Alright, we now have a trackpad installed at a PS2 port. Because this is the second time I'm shooting this video, the first time it didn't come out very well, it was out of focus, because I think I left the camera in manual focus mode. I've learned from my mistake, serial port doesn't work because there isn't a serial port driver unless you use the driver disc, which probably wouldn't be that big of a problem in this case because I have the driver disc, but we're just going to use PS2 for the sake of using PS2 because it won't matter much anyways. This isn't the intended system. Although this system's having a floppy drive is going to pay off big time for reasons you will see soon enough. I wish there was a way to get rid of that message because it's not really true. The amount of system memory has not changed. So theoretically, at least, when we boot into Windows, we'll find that our onboard trackpad is disabled, but that our new one is in place. And again, this one is actually really good with regards to the positioning of the mouse. It doesn't go all over the place with the smallest little movement. Of course, Windows 3.0 and 3.1 are not the best way to describe, or not the best way to demonstrate things like right-click, because right-click doesn't even exist in Windows 3.0 and 3.1. Let's go ahead and play that same game. I'll make the same mistake I did last time. Hopefully I'm showing this rather good. Oops. Oh crap. Yeah, the tap to click functionality is showing there, so I probably just lost the game by accident. Oh dear. Yeah, it's a problem. So, I have to say right off the bat now that the tap-to-click functionality of something like this is actually rather annoying. I don't like tap-to-click on any trackpad, however, so... It's not going to matter if I lose now because I just won, so... Maybe I'll play out the rest of this game, and then we'll move on with a Windows 95 machine. And I know just the machine to use, too. One that I have not used in a very long time. Here is our Windows 95 machine. Something that has not been powered on in a very long time. Has not seen a video in a very long time. This is an NEC Versa 6230, for those of you who are just tuning in. It was in pristine condition until this happened. I'm not entirely sure when or why it happened, it's just that it happened. And that makes me very angry because this thing was in beautiful condition. It was perfect up until that happened. So now it's pretty much worthless, now that it really had any value to begin with. It's based on a Pentium 233. It's got, I think this one's got 128 megs of RAM installed, quite a big difference from the one over there. And it's got a, 10 gig hard drive. And it's running, of course, Windows 95 from the factory installation media. Got another one of these LCD status screens. This was another standard back in the day. Instead of having a billion LEDs, they would have those LCD panels. They weren't the best, but they worked. Mostly, anyways. Use the built-in trackpad. Behaves decently. I'm still not a fan of it. Since, again, the tap to click is rather annoying. I hate that functionality. Isn't that stereo effect? Actually, sorry, you won't even be able to hear that on this camera. It's got a monophonic microphone. Whoops, sorry about that. Just some examples of some clicking using the internal mouse. Alright. Of course, you probably wondered what the tripwire is for. This is how I'm transferring the installer over to the computer. The very fast serial connection. I've transferred these files over to the hard drive on this machine so it'll move a little faster. It's horrendously slow from the floppy drive. And this is a huge file, so this could take a while. Forgot to plug the mouse in, but let's go ahead and try run the setup program. Hopefully this will work. I already have Logitech mouseware on this, and that is not going to work. Hold on, this thing is being stupid, obviously. Obviously, as you can tell, I managed to get myself thoroughly frustrated with that piece of crap, and it's not working for no reason whatsoever. Just purely did not work. That's all I can imagine. So I have this thing out, and we're just going to use this thing. I have no idea when the volume got turned up so loud. This is what it should be doing. I'll have to plug the thing in afterwards. Sure. Let's see, what should we do? Connect it to PS2 or serial? Let's connect it to PS2. Actually, let's do serial, because why not, eh? Just to be different. This machine, by the way, has got an acupoint. Don't want to restart my computer. No, I'll restart later because I need to plug the device in, so. That's what we'll do right now. Oops. Shut down. And we'll plug the device in and we'll give it a good old-fashioned college try. Alright, so before we continue with that, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So you can go ahead and pause the video if you can read that. Basically comparing itself to some other well-known mice at the time. Here's our features. We'll go ahead and turn the computer on. We'll go ahead and take a look at some of these features. Back and forward surf, one-touch zoom, the glide pen, which I'm holding in my hand right now. Programmable buttons, horizontal scrolling, the right tap corner, programmable virtual button, vertical scrolling, audible feedback, and you can hook it up to multiple devices, of course. Or, actually, sorry, that says you could use another external pointing device, which is also true. You could actually use it like a gamepad, like this. Oh man, this thing takes forever to boot. Come on. So now that this mouse finally actually works, I had to plug it into PS2 because I guess the serial port on this computer is broken because there's no real excuse for it to not have worked through serial. Let's see if we can actually try and demonstrate some of these things, starting with the back and forward surf. So what you're supposed to do, I believe, is slide back and forth. Oh yeah, that works. Very finicky, too. I think you can see that it is actually working. So that's fine. By the way, the pen works like this. Again, I learned that the hard way. I thought it went like this, and I was wondering why it wasn't doing anything. Well, that would be why. One-touch zoom. Do I have Office 97 on here? Maybe. I don't think so, though. Yeah, I don't have Office on here, so I can't demonstrate that. I'm not going to go find my Office disk, so... We'll go ahead and open up the signature capture program, if I can find it. Okay, so after fighting with this stupid thing, because I still don't understand its behavior, I've got the signature capture program open. Now let's try and just do a bunch of stuff. Alright, so I think you get the point. Push spacebar to clear that, and you can push enter to get some options. Black, blue, or red, you can change the thickness, show the guidelines, and when pasting, reduce it to 50% of the original size. You can copy and paste it from there. I have 2 minutes left on this tape, so I'm going to have to hurry it up. Okay, so the scrolling works. You can do both horizontal and vertical. As far as the virtual corner up here goes, if you double click, double tap, it'll do a right click. I thought it worked with just a single tap, but you have to double tap, which is a shame. But oh well, you can't have everything. And last but not least, these are your basic configuration options. I'm not going to go through them because this isn't a review video. Well, it kind of is, but it's also not at the same time. I never really intended to review something this old, but, you know, for a trackpad, this really isn't that bad. And my opinion, of course, is colored by the fact that I don't like trackpads. So if you find one of these at the thrift store for a decent price, or anywhere else for that matter, you might as well snap it up. Especially if it's complete like this one. But there's your video of the Cirque Glide Point Power Cat external trackpad. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. Hope to see you next time. Till then. Somebody's time is wrong. I don't know which time it is. It takes long enough to shut down. Close the Unlike a lot of Dell systems, it appears as though this one uses a standard... Now it's ignoring me. Alright, this is annoying. Which is also true. So let's go ahead. I forgot to plug it in, didn't I? Yeah, you bet I did. Hopefully it will actually not freak out when I plug in the serial device without shutting the computer down. I don't think you're supposed to do this. And if it worked. No, I had to reboot. It's still not working. Why isn't it working? Oh, Windows Millennium Edition. Oh, here we go. It wants me to reboot again. Ugh. Piece of garbage. I do have a web browser installed. Well, the signature capture opens. So maybe we'll try and do that. Where's the pen? Where did I put this stupid pen?